Hello there. I know it's been a long time since we've even communicated like this. I know, I trust that you're going to understand that if I'm sending something like this uh, after so long, that obviously it's important, and I know that you will heed that. Beyond that, this um, God, I'm not writing it because it has proven to be maybe the hardest thing I've ever tried to write, and for months since before summer. Uh, it's been not just on my heart, it's been on my soul, it's been on everything to get this out there. And the biggest reasons are about me. And you'll understand that, and I'll explain all of that. I ask that you take some time with this. Um, Listen to it with headphones by yourself, bring a snack. I'm sure it's going to be long. Uh, and sit with it a while. Like I said, um, this hasn't been easy. The context, no. First, it's been a long time, and I want to say that I really do love and miss you, and I'm so. It's. I wish it wasn't a completely complicated feeling, but I'm so proud of you, Jordan. Um, you you've done so many things that I've wanted for you, and that you deserve so much. And I don't want any of that to be overshadowed by the fact that I still have difficult things to discuss. So obviously, because if this is about us at all, I have to go back about 11 years because that's really the last time that we were meaningfully in touch. Um, so I'm gonna give you. I've given you bits and pieces of my story of the past 10 plus years, but not all together, and that's important. And so I'm gonna do that. So 2012 was the last year that you and I really had anything willfully to do with one another in like an extended uh, in-person kind of capacity. Uh, so I'll do a really hard thing for me, and I'll just tell things in order and do first things first. Um, I know you know this, and I've told you this, but in the spring of 2012, and let's look, I said I'm going to do this in order, and I still got to backtrack from there, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Um, I went on a nationwide tour because I had won iWhips, and when I was in the Bay, I stayed with a friend in the kind of the Berkeley Oakland border, and I hung out with someone for 2 days who I'd known tangentially through the poetry scene. And on the night before I left Oakland, he raped me in the living room of my friend Denise's house on her fold out couch, and it's really something, Jordan. Like it's not ambiguous. There's not gray area. I asked him several times not to. I asked him several times to stop, to remove himself. There's nothing ambiguous about it. Um, so, well, I guess this isn't really going back, is it? Well, no, kind of. That was the year. That was the year, Jordan. That like you and I. This was it in my head. We were finally going to transition from being exes to being friends. We wouldn't even have to have that suffix anymore, right? Friends who used to date. I was so excited about that, and I was really prepared at the beginning of that year. I was going on tour. Uh, we wouldn't share a bed ever. Even platonically, whatever. Because that wasn't going to get us to the next phase of our friendship, right? Um, and damn it, Jordan, I remember you invited me over on Valentine's Day, and I was so good at not at knowing not to do that. There was nothing desperate in me that was clinging to you or to anyone. And then that April, Terry happened, and I was a mess, and I couldn't name what happened to me. And I came back to Baltimore, and it was the summer, and it was the last summer that I talked to you at all. It was so hard, and I couldn't name what happened to me, and I couldn't name how and why it was affecting me, but I clung so desperately. And I remember over the summer, I wrote this long thing to you about my issues with my body and all kinds of things. And that was the beginning of it really coming out, whatever it was. On the 4th of July, I was walking Wiley in Patterson Park. And it was after the fireworks, right? But I don't know what happened. But I had some sort of, I think now it was maybe some sort of panic attack. I've certainly had them since. And I was just crouched down in Patterson Park, and Wiley was kind of licking me when I came to. And when I came to, I had this distinct smell of my grandfather's trailer, which is super weird, like the cigar smoke that was in there. And I was connecting immediately to what happened to me in Oakland with Terry. And by the time that I was done the walk, I remember thinking, I think you need to go and you need to check things about repressed traumatic memories and about sexual assault. But here's the thing. If you do that, it's never going to be the same after that. You're going to look this up and something is going to feel different and be more official, something. And I did it. And that's what happened. And so what happened was that from that summer of 2012 on, I was simultaneously processing this thing that happened to me in Berkeley in April of 2012. But then I was also processing shit that happened to me as a child and all the way on up. And it got really rough. And I still have panic attacks. And I remember when I showed you, when I read you that thing that I wrote, you couldn't have possibly known. But God, I was trying so hard. I was trying so hard to reach out. And I know that later that year in September, I would never, if I was functioning normally, if I knew what was going on with me, I would never have even thought to have us share the same bed that night that I picked you up from. I don't even remember what bar it was. I think it was one of the ones by Micah, right? That never would have happened the way that it did, but it did, and I have to make that matter and be meaningful. So that night in September, here is it from my perspective, and this is really important. I got a call from you, and that was exciting. And I had just gone on a date with a guy, and I had a friend in from out of town, and Narmi and baby mama were there at my place. And so I picked you up from the bar. I took you to my place. I shared my friends with you. I cooked for you and for everybody. We drank. I was going to take you home. And I don't know why I didn't recognize that you were blackout drunk, that is. I would have just immediately gone to the couch. So what happened when you got back into my bedroom and I came back from the bathroom is what I was trying to tell you the next day. And I think you were either still drunk or still hungover. But this is the part that's really rough, Jordan, because this is the part that still hurts and is hard for me to understand or relate to. And I think some of it is that the totality of everything hasn't been put out in the open. When I came back into my room and you were getting ready to lay down, you were already almost entirely undressed. You grabbed me and told me to get the fuck in the bed. You were rough in a way that I wasn't ready for. things that you would normally have said jokingly, take your clothes off, or I'm going to take them off, or you get the bug in the bed, I'm going to slam you down on air. Freaks me out. And of course, I'm a couple months out of something incredibly traumatizing and sexual happening to me that I'm still struggling to really process and name. But Jordan, your behavior scared me in that time. It was so unfamiliar and weird. I felt genuinely unsafe, and I did not know what to do. And I ran out of my room, and I went upstairs, and I spent a lot of the time on the couch on or near tears. And I promised that I'd figure out how to talk to you about it, and it would be fine. I knew it would be fine. We were friends, I'm sure you remember this. About a year before we stopped speaking. No, I'm sorry. A year before you stopped speaking to me, you called me when I was on tour, and it was like 2 a.m, and I stayed up with you until very early in the morning for hours, because you had written a letter coming out to your parents. And I knew that I wasn't going to be the guy who ended up with you. And I knew that it was something that affected our relationship. And Jordan, nothing could have stopped me from staying up on that phone and crying with you and laughing with you and telling you that I was proud of you and that you could do this and that none of this pain was your fault. And it was shocking that not a year later, I told you something you didn't want to hear, and you didn't ask for any clarifications. You spent over 10 years never trying to figure out why I said to you, hey, while you were drunk, you made me so uncomfortable that I left my room. I deserved all of those things. And the fact is, this is still profoundly relevant, not just because it was a matter of my safety and my heart and a thing that happened to me, but the fact is that for 11 years, I have been putting off being loud about being a sexual assault survivor. I have balked about putting it into my art. I have balked about talking to it. It's been hard for me to address in therapy. I had an EMDR therapist who uses that light panel to help you access past memories, and I freaked out. Last year, I spoke to a local news outlet, and they're interested in running the story about my rape in Oakland in 2012. And the reason for that is that the man who raped me is now an elected official in Berkeley. And I don't have any reason to think that he has not done something like this before and won't do something like this again. To my knowledge, he's married. It's really hard for me to look him up. It really, really, really is, Jordan. But I'm in California, and I would like to stay living in the Bay if I can. And I don't want to do that silently and while this person has notoriety and systemic power. But I don't want to send the message that this is the life of a survivor, that you have to be secondary, you have to hide. I have a one-man show that I already have funding to take to the Southeast this spring and summer. And I have to be able to write it. So I have to get rid of everything that is lingering in here. And what I want you to know, Jordan, is I don't think you ever knew, but I think you could have and chose not to. And I need you to know that I am so sorry that whatever it is you felt like I was saying to you in my car the next day broke your heart, because I know what it is to have my heart broken. And I am so sorry. I have to tell you, what I am talking about is not hurt. I'm talking about harm. And you caused me genuine harm. And you didn't bother to go back and check in on that. And I and all survivors are worth so much more than that. Jordan, you're at a place in your life now where you are so grown. It's amazing. It's rattling. It's paradigm shifting to think about the fact that I'm a few months away from knowing you from half your life. You are more grown now than ever at any time that I knew you. You will be making decisions about parenthood and further relocations and all types of really, really grown decisions. And it does affect me to feel like you will be doing so without having been really transformed by something major and harmful that you did to someone who really loved you. And I want you to think about that. Um, I don't know why I've never gotten an apology. Uh, I had to deal with that and to work with that and to love myself through it. And now I need to be um, a standard for that self love. Um, it's funny. I get praised by people for being really brazen and really ballsy for standing up for other people. It meant so much to me, even though we were estranged, when you would repost something that I had put on social media about identity politics, about systemic oppression, and the thing is, it is that same heart. It's that same impulse that causes me to speak out in other people's defense and to be loud about uncomfortable social issues. That same thing is the thing that caused me to want to talk to you about what happened to me and what you did. And I was treated like I was being fair and heroic and an ally and an activist when I speak out, about the police, about profiling, about the lack of safety of people of color here. But when I then want to say, but also here's this thing that happened to me, then then it's a different story. This part is hard to say, and part of it is because I don't want you to feel like this is me blaming you for anything. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm nearly 50. When I fall, and I have, I know that's me, and I know I have systemic and personal privileges to lean into for so many things. But the fact is that I've been just enough wrecked by the feeling that I am unlovable. In this identity as survivor, I have never felt so lonely or unworthy of love. And that's heavy, and I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for anyone else. I think about how powerful the "I am so sorry to have made you feel like you weren't worthy" would have been, and I want that for other people. And so, Jordan, I want you to really think about where you were at that time and where you've been, because now you caused real harm to someone who really loved you. And I think about how chaotic and toxic parts of your life were at that time, and I hope that you really sit with this and you think about who else has felt like this as the result of their time knowing you. And if there's anyone who you feel like would be that healed and changed by an apology, I hope you seek them out. I hope that when Jason or anyone else tells you no, tells you you're wrong, you've hurt them, I hope you really, really take that to heart. I know how it's felt to not have that. Again, I love you so much. I want such good things for you, but I want that for me too. The fact is, I have lost jobs and housing and relationships. I am recording this from the van where my dog and I live. And there's something poetic and gorgeous about that life that I love. But the fact is that a lot of my autonomy in those decisions was not there. Like, there's van life and there's being a homeless dude, and I feel like I don't want to be the sexual assault survivor who lived in misery and squalor, unless it's what I fucking want. As a lot of this I have to let go. Before the end of the year, I'm going to complete that email to the news outlet naming Terry Taplin as my rapist, and I'm going to let go of everything that haunts me through art, through therapy, through things like this. Like I said, I don't need you to do anything in response directly to me. That's entirely up to you. But I hope you come to this with the most undefended heart, possible. It's been 20 minutes, so I'm going to end this and tell you that after all this, I love you very, very much.